Thank you for staying with Benchmark. As mentioned in our lead story, the LMD Nielsen Business Confidence Index plunged to a low of 135 in March. The March result represents a post-war low since the last time poll participants took such a pessimistic view of the economy was in May 2009, immediately preceding the end of the 26-year civil war. Here's Anushan Selvaraja with more.
Welcome to the Voice of Business. Joining me on the show this week is the Managing Director of the Nielsen Company, Shaheen Kader. Now Shaheen, on the 4th of March, the IMF said it expects Sri Lanka's GDP growth to drop below 7.5% this year from an 8.3% in 2011, despite the central bank's forecast at the time being 8%. Now, the central bank did subsequently lower its forecast to 7.2%. How do you view this scenario, and will there be an impact on business and investor confidence in the short to medium term as a result of this downgrading?
Yeah, Anushan, I think, well, we went through a timely correction of policy in March. Otherwise, the economy would have overheated and got out of control. I mean, balance of payments deficit and so on would have spiraled out of control, and therefore, it would not have been possible to sustain strong economic growth even at 7% over the next few months. But what happened was the correction was a shock to the nation. It was too abrupt because the nation was under the impression that, we were cruising, we were coasting. And so this abrupt indication of bad news, i.e. the devaluation or the floating of the rupee plus the fuel price increases and so on, this abrupt indication is not what the business sector wants. The business sector does not like overnight shocks.
One interviewee from the latest poll by Nielsen for LMD believes that, quote, our money is going out of the country and foreign companies and MNCs are repatriating their profits without investing here, unquote. Your thoughts on this, sir?
I think most multinational companies are making substantial investments in Sri Lanka, whether it's in manufacturing, services or in people. And they're also providing quality products and services that we Sri Lankans demand and will continue to demand. And I expect to see more multinational investments in the next coming months and years, and not only multinationals but Asian and Indian companies as well, to meet consumer demand increases in the future.
Another survey participant, Shaheen, says that, quote, the economy is not growing, production and growth are more or less saturated, and there are not many job opportunities opening up, and the share market is not picking up, so it hasn't been a good year so far, unquote. Is this feeling widespread, Shaheen?
Well, the business confidence index has shown downward movement in the last couple of months. And there has been increasing pessimism with regard to future business prospects, and concerns about inflation also have actually gone up. Business people are also concerned that the economy will worsen in the next few months. And I think these concerns are enhanced due to interest rate rises, increases in vehicle taxes, and the devaluation of the rupee. But we need to keep in mind that, even the ADB has forecasted a 7% growth rate for the country, down from the previous 8%. But 7% growth is still a fairly good number. It's probably one of the highest growth levels globally. So what has happened is we have therefore now, changed down a gear, and we need to gently accelerate to a cruising speed to achieve a reasonable growth momentum.
LMD says that the chances of the BCI regaining lost ground, it is now at a 13-month low, in the near term are remote because of the operating environment at home and away. Now, how do you see this, and what must happen for there to be a revival?
I think the BCI is likely to go down in the next couple of months. But I guess if the rupee depreciates even more than what we have seen recently, the business sector confidence may go down even further, and therefore the index might even decline even more. But on the other hand, if the trade gap starts narrowing and the rupee starts strengthening, I expect that optimism will return, albeit slowly.
That was Benchmark's Anushan Selvaraja in conversation with Shaheen Kader. That's our show for today. Do join us again next week.